Hi, my name is Christine, and today I'll be teaching you the simple secrets of making a vegan cinnamon swirl bundt cake. Now, this is a very popular dessert, so don't be surprised if people are begging you for more. So let's get started and let me teach you how to make this wonderful dessert without any dairy or eggs that will fool everyone. So first, let me show you my bundt pan. I have with me today a 5-cup bundt pan that is lightly greased with a small amount of canola oil. So you want to make sure that you lightly grease your pan in order to prevent the cake from sticking. Next, let me show you my wet ingredients. So first, I have to add to the recipe a 1/2 cup of canola oil, and I put everything in the bowl together. The second ingredient I add is 1 cup of evaporated cane sugar. Now, I never use white sugar in any of my cakes. Third, I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of soy milk. I always use plain soy milk. Fourth, I add 1/3 cup of orange mango juice. Now, you can find this type of juice in the health food aisle of any regular grocery store, and I put that in. Fifth, I add a 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. And sixth, I add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So you want to give that a good stir, and you want to ensure that all your oil and sugar are fully mixed together and that you do not see anything separated in the bowl. So that takes a few moments. Okay, now it's done. See how simple that was? And so next, let me show you my dry ingredients. So to this bowl, I've already added 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 3 teaspoons of egg replacer powder. Now, egg replacer powder is a very important ingredient in vegan baking because it allows the cake to rise. So let me set my wet ingredients aside, and let me show you my flour. So I have here 1 3/4 cup of bread flour, which I use in all of my cakes and cookies because it really does provide a better texture than all-purpose flour. So let me add that to my dry ingredients. So I just put that in, and I give this a nice mix, and I make sure that all the powders are fully integrated into the flour. Okay, it looks pretty good. And now I'm going to add my wet ingredients to my dry ingredients, and I will just gradually put in a small amount of flour at a time and make sure that I mix this thoroughly together. And I'm going to continue adding flour. Now, I never use hand mixers in my baking because it does seem to create a texture that is too dry because you do not want to overmix any of your ingredients. So I'm going to continue mixing. All right, I've added all the flour, and you need to make sure that all the ingredients are fully mixed together, and it's almost done. And I think, again, I really have to say that one of the secrets to vegan baking is that you do not over mix. So believe it or not, it is all mixed together, and it looks great, and it smells wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to set this spoon aside, and I'm going to show you how to assemble the cake. So first, I should let you know that in the cinnamon swirl bundt cake, obviously there is cinnamon and brown sugar, and that goes into the center of the cake. So to assemble this cake, I put about half the batter into the bowl, just pouring it in. It's very simple. And then I sprinkle cinnamon and brown sugar into the cake, just like that. It's 1/4 cup of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon go into the center of this cake. Okay, And now I'm going to continue scooping the rest of the batter into the cake to cover up the cinnamon and brown sugar mixture. And it's almost done. And you also want to make sure that your oven is set at 350 degrees. Okay. Okay, and you want to spread out that batter to make sure it's covering all that brown sugar. And I might be able to turn it so that you'll have a chance to see it at home, so that's what it looks like. And you do want to make sure that there isn't batter around the edges, and you do stamp down a little bit the air from the batter. So that's it. It's a very simple cake to make, very, very easy. But last but not least, there's a wonderful glaze that I've created for this cake, and it's a caramel glaze. So in this recipe, I have 3 tablespoons of earth balanced margarine, 4 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of soy milk, and 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And so let me see if I can show you at home what it looks like. And it's a wonderful, rich, brown glaze. And so, to finish off, this cake does go in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. And to test it, to make sure it's done, you would put a wood skewer or even a chopstick into the sides of the cake. And if it comes out clean, your cake is done. Then you're going to let your cake rest for about 30 minutes outside of the oven until it cools completely, and you can put your hand on the bottom and it's cool to the touch. At that point, you can loosen the edges with a chopstick or a wood stick or even a knife. Go around the edges and go around the center part, and then your cake will release. So I hope you enjoy this recipe, and I think that it's wonderful and people are going to be completely impressed. And you'll really challenge their beliefs about what a vegan cake tastes like. So if you want to find out more about this recipe or more about the vegan baking classes that we do in San Francisco, please contact www.bayareaveg.com, and that's the Bay Area Vegetarians. So I look forward to hearing how this recipe goes for you. Thank you.